around.
Second helpings, everybody. My name is Jackie Zabrowski.
And I'm MJ. The story of the week may have been Ariana, but your second helping of the week is Spider-Man. And we guess Perez Hilton.
Yeah, I think
also, if we have to.
I think that it's going to probably going to throw
a
little bit of Perez Hilton in there,
Teens.
regardless of whether we really want to or not. But
Which we don't.
We don't. No, we're not. We're not loving on this. Surprisingly, we didn't hear this story and go bazinga like they do on their bangs. I know that wasn't where my head was at. It's a rough story. It's a rough story to a week that we had already begun, that we thought it was already like, oh man, the big story of the week.
Oh, good thing we talked about the really hard, unpleasant story already. And then I literally wake up to seeing posts that are just like, don't watch the Perez Hilton video. Don't watch it.
And you didn't watch the video.
I did not. And that is our editorial stance here at page 7. You do not need to watch
the video.
Horrifying graphic videos online in order to, I think you can, if you want to know what's happening, you should become informed about what happened, but you do not need to subject yourself to the relentless onslaught of visual violence that is available to us every second of every day.
Yeah, but sometimes we really like to be traumatized, and you gotta see the photos if you want the trauma. So we get it. Also, some of us out there, we just have, fingers disease, and that means we have fingers, and sometimes the fingers look up things that the brain is like, please don't look it up, but the fingers are already going, and then you're already looking at it, and you're like, oh my God, he was nude. Oh my God, it lasted so long. But you don't need to watch the video. And for some of those out there that are not, are you paying attention to other things that maybe are not aware of what was going on with Perez Hilton? Let's just give a quick TLDR out the gate here.
I think that's good.
That he was hospitalized he was on the middle of a live stream and he was nude
on TikTok, a TikTok live stream.
Yes, TikTok
right?
live. Yeah, TikTok live. And he was live while doing it.
Correct.
And he was self-harming himself very, very desperately, and very, very much so. And apparently he was home and alone, despite living with his mother and his 3 children. But thank God he was home alone, I guess. But of course, watchers sent an ambulance, which I guess they would have to find him, and I don't even know anything about that, but we do know he is hospitalized. This is a very tricky situation for a lot of people to navigate, because I think if you guys remember, maybe the one thing you know about Perez Hilton is that he's a huge piece of human garbage. Not that anyone deserves to go through a psychotic break. Not that anyone deserves this. But also, guys, reminder, he's a horrific human being.
This actually is an interesting little onion to peel back with, again, starting off with, best of luck to him in his recovery. Thank goodness he is okay. Thank goodness he got help.
Thank goodness the kids weren't there. Because, I'm really thinking about his children. I'm just, thank God that they didn't see that.
Yes. And I think I want to get into the Perez onion because I do think there are many layers specifically with regard to celebrity at pop culture. And also, I just want to put this out there for all of our listeners, a compassionate, just acknowledgement that it is so hard to be online right now for so many reasons, and that if you have made it to wherever you're at in life, young adulthood, later adulthood, wherever, you
very
probably
young, sexy adulthood. Thank you.
Yes, wherever we are, which is perfect adulthood, where you're hot and you feel great about yourself all the time.
Thank you for acknowledging our section of adulthood.
But point is, we all have gotten here, and we probably all have triggers around things like eating disorders, around things like mental health, and around things like postpartum experiences. And I just want to name that every time I look at my phone, I am profoundly triggered by something horrible. And I just want to say that because that is the life we are all living. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. for a while, it was like every time I look at my phone, I see images of a horrible war. And then now it's like every time I look at my phone, I see images of just like a family tragedy. And I just want to say that because like if you feel like I used to look at my phone and be like, ooh, fun, a little treat. I'll look at my phone and have a little treat of relaxation.
But your brain still thinks it's a little treat of relaxation.
Exactly.
So it keeps going back to it. And then you look at it and go,
100%. Exactly.
Every time you look at your phone.
Yes, 100. And I don't even know what time it was that my phone was providing relaxation, but it was like, back when, I was a big Twitter person in the 10s, back when it was good. And I'd be like, oh, I'll see the little jokes my friends are making, or I'll learn a little bit about the news and maybe it'll be interesting or whatever the fuck. Or maybe I'll see a little video of corgis singing Call Me Maybe.
Punished. You should be punished. That's all I'm hearing.
There's no corgis singing Call Me Maybe anymore, okay? It's just like,
They're
here's
out
a family
there.
tragedy.
See, MJ, they are out there because you say this, but I was really struggling yesterday, and then I started following this page on Insta called Pork and Beanies because it's about these two dogs, and there's Beans, and then there's Piglet, and they are two very cute. And Piglet loves to shake her tail, but she's a little chihuahua, so when she shakes her tail, her whole body shakes, and then when he plays the guitar, she puts her little paw on the guitar, and it's just like, don't, you should pet me instead, and her whole body wiggles, and her name is Piglet,
nice.
and
yes.
it's Pork and Beans.
No, that's
and
nice.
That's all I need, MJ.
That's all you need.
Pork and Beans, and then everything's gonna be fine.
And just like we talked about last week, my algorithm was pure Les Mis for a while, and it was a vacation from life,
from your problems. Yes. What about Bob? You should watch it today.
And thank you to everyone who sent me the video of the person singing Les Mis in the style of Justin Bieber. Yes, those are two of my interests fused together in perfection. So I just want to, I do just want to name that because I feel like when all of us in life are like, why do I feel bad all the time? And it's just like, because now our phone is listening to us and I think identifying our triggers. I've been talking with a bunch of my friends who are gestational parents, and we are all getting more of the trial going on right now than any of our friends who are not gestational parents. And it's like we are being, the companies are targeting our weaknesses.
Trial, I think the other day, and I was like, I thought you were referring to a different trial that is also horrific. That was about a teacher and a student, and so I thought you were talking about that one. And then I saw you were posting about it. No, I was like,
a different
you were talking
trial,
about a different, very upsetting trial.
Oh, well,
because
good.
there are
I don't know
many
about
of them, MJ.
I know. Well, but see, that's what I mean. The fact that these companies are basically finding out, how can I feed you the most triggering thing? You're a mother. Yeah. I'm going to feed you this trial. Yes. And it is specifically going to upset you. So I just want to name that everybody I talk to right now is like being profoundly triggered by the algorithm finding their, and so then to the Perez Hilton thing is just one of those things where it's like, oh good, I get to just be triggered in all these different directions too.
But that's why have you thought about just staring at Tom Daya footage instead, and then your whole feed will be Tom Daya, MJ?
Bruh, I'm doing one better, man. I'm in the woods. I'm staring at the grass. Ugh. I'm looking for deer.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for
birds.
you. Oh, God, make sure you don't get ticks. Oh, God.
Oh, I'm checking for ticks.
There's probably hypodermic needles in the tree stumps. I don't trust them. I don't trust what they do out there because you never know what kind of traps are laid. I watched the scary movies. Being out in the country, we all know, is much scarier than being in the city. So, MJ, I hope that you're sitting in vacation in fear.
Don't worry. My anxieties have just been redirected towards different things, but I am looking for deer. But
good. So, but also towards like a Perez Hilton situation, because it is that live, that's also something as a performer of a live breakdown that is so, but also I think this is why everyone keeps being like, but don't watch the video, because I think that we're all so used to seeing such crazy stuff that it's like, but this is an active, while you can see it in his eyes or not, or maybe see him seeing through you, or I don't even know, because again, I didn't watch the video. And I think that this is good for us. We need to not watch it, y'all.
And that's all. You're right. As a performer, it's interesting because the cultural invention of being able to put on a performance from your home means that there are fewer barriers to live streaming your psychotic break. Whereas if you had to have a venue to put on a show, as you had in the past, there's just a lot of layers in between you and your psychotic break being public. And now it's just like very easy to have your psychotic break be public. And that's probably not a great trend for performance or humanity.
No, because I feel like it's like back in the day, like Judy Garland, she could spin that into selling tickets. You know, like, so maybe that's what's going to happen with Perez, you know? Take that breakdown, turn it into tickets.
But even Judy Garland's breakdown was, I mean, compared to this, largely private. And obviously it wasn't private at all.
No,
but it wasn't like, it wasn't being live streamed by the minute.
No, it wasn't live. It really, it's crazy the place that we find ourselves in.
It is.
But it also, it's crazy to find yourself in a movie theater when there are 3 screens, MJ, especially when you become the Spider-Man. Yes, I did go see Spider-Man in Screen X. It was shot for Screen X. And for those that are unaware, you're like, Screen X, oh, we're talking about new technology. We're talking about new
I don't
things.
like it.
We're
Sounds
not
like SpaceX.
It does sound like SpaceX, but we're not talking about 4DX, which is the one that I did want to go see, the Odyssey, because everyone kept talking about they're getting like sprayed with ocean spray, and they're just like everything's all wet and everything's upsetting, and I do love that. But in the middle, there is Screen X, and that is where you have a huge screen in front of you, like a movie theater, but then also the walls are also screens. And when they shot Spider-Man for this movie, so when you're swinging in the movie, it feels like you're swinging through Manhattan.
There's like peripheral.
Yes,
it's filmed to have like peripheral.
It was awesome.
That's cool. That does sound cool.
And I understand, I think a lot of people, because the tickets are expensive. They are more expensive than your average, but not when you're an AMC Stubs member. Where
I was
going
to
to
say, can I get this? Can I get this at the AMC?
AMC Stubs. I'm sorry, what?
Can I get this at the AMC?
Yes.
Where do I find the special technology?
Screen X is at the AMC.
AMC,
You can get
okay.
it at the AMC. I'm sure that they have it at other places. I only know because I'm Stubbs Forever that I know that we get it at the AMC.
Okay.
And I'd seen it before that people are like, oh, Screen X is just a stupid thing for stupid people. And don't get me wrong. I don't think I want to see like the drama in Screen X. Like I don't need to see, the sides of Robert Pattinson's apartment. You know what I mean? But if you're swinging through Manhattan, now that's how you do it. And I just kept thinking over and over again about how Tom Holland kept thinking about going back and forth between the Odyssey and doing Spider-Man, of where everything was done so practically with the Odyssey, and he kept asking for more things to be done practically in Spider-Man, and apparently he did get his way a little bit, that there was more I don't think that's why he got his
through
way.
the avenues of the buildings in Manhattan.
Doing some more of that. Like, yes, that they were actually doing more of actually swinging him and on strings, being swung from building to building. And I was watching some footage of it, and that looked awesome. And I thought that Screen X was just going to be only gimmick, not fun. And also, I will throw it out there, not every shot is the entire thing. So also
it just like activates?
It activates for the like crazy.
Oh, that's cool for the action set. That's fun.
Yes.
I like maybe. So Gideon saw it. He loved it. I think he saw it in a normal 1D. 1.0.
1D, what is it? 2D? Was it paper? I guess that is 2D. I guess that is most movies, Jackie.
The lowest level of technology is how he saw it.
I'm so sorry for him.
Yes, but he loved it.
I cried,
And
I think, 6 times.
really? Yeah, he said he was crying, and the people next to him kept looking over in confusion about why he was crying so much.
What?
He's a loud, expressive crier during movies, but yeah, he said no one else was
Yeah,
crying.
and he's
He was the only one.
allowed to be a loud, expressive crier.
You're allowed to be a loud crier.
I was actually talking about this on Who's the Bee, actually, because next to us at Screen X was a man, probably in his 50s or 60s, that was at Spider-Man alone. And he was so excited about Spider-Man.
Was it my husband?
It was not surprisingly was not your husband, but it could have been, because he just kept talking to Jeff. Like, there was one moment where he was like, like immortalizing the famous like covers in moments.
Aww.
And he was like, that one was from this comic and then this one. And then it was like that kind of it. I was very, very happy for them. And I just kept being like, I'm very glad Jeff is the one sitting next to you because I am here for the Tom Daya. And were they serving? I'm so upset. And I just want to say, for those of you that think you don't care about a Spider-Man, watch the other Tom Holland Spider-Mans leading up and then go see it, because I was so in by the time I went to go see this movie that I was like, I'll do anything for them. And like, I got my own fervor like foamed and alived for myself.
This is what I love about any time I see specifically the Spider-Man movies. Like, I do enjoy the Avengers movies, and basically anytime I see a superhero movie, I'm like, fun. Like, I never like think I want to see a superhero movie, and then I see it, and I always have a good time
until it's a bad one, and then you're like, ugh.
right. But like, I always love X-Men. I always love, Avengers, and the Batmans are fun and everything. But my family grew up with Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man was our superhero. My dad would read Spider-Man comics to my brother. And obviously the Sam Raimi ones came out when we were in high school, and they were so good. And
also we grew up in Queens. So of course Spider-Man was always big in our home.
Totally.
That was we always had a Spider-Man contingency.
There's so many fun things about Spider-Man specifically as a superhero. The New York part, I really love like the moral struggle. I find his moral struggle to be much more compelling than like a Batman moral struggle.
Right.
The fact that he's like, I want to help the world, but then I also have to protect the people close to me, and I have to choose between protecting the people close to me or protecting like a broader public. And I think that, and also he's so funny. I love Spider-Man's personality. That he's always making little jokes. He's S-tier superhero.
Also, Spike Lee did say that Tom Holland for him was his perfect spot. Like, that was Spider-Man to him.
Stanley or Spike Lee?
Spike Lee said it, and we were like, why?
Spike Lee,
why do you care about Spider-Man? What are you like? Honestly, everyone's like, do the right thing, Spike Lee. Tell us what you really think about Spider-Man, okay? And that's what that movie's about.
I love Spike Lee's taste, so that actually would mean a lot to me. But so Stan Lee said that Tom Holland is the ultimate Peter Parker. Yeah, that's great. And we'll ask Spike Lee and see if he agrees.
That's such very different people.
But a genius in their own right, each of them.
He certainly was, but I'm
glad you loved it.
I did love it, and I know I can't talk about what happens in it, and I never would.
Big spoiler. Everyone, Gideon's so afraid I'm going to get spoiled. I'm like, buddy, it's not in my algorithm.
MJ, I thought it wasn't in my algorithm until I watched it, and I was like, oh, that was in my algorithm, and I just didn't realize
and then you're like, yeah.
So it might be, but also, MJ, I will further say, I don't think you care at all about the spoiler that happens. Even I barely care, and I love the character. So it is one of those things that, like, when it happened, I was like, oh. And then Jeff explained more to me. And that sounds vague, but if you watch the movie, you know what I mean. Because I was like, it was one of those.
I can't imagine being upset about a spoiler in a superhero movie. It's just not. I like them again, but I just can't imagine that it will be that upsetting for me if I do get spoiled. But it hasn't happened yet, and I do hope to see it. And maybe I'll make Gideon take me to the SpaceX version.
Screen X. Just don't ever call it SpaceX. It's not,
sorry.
all right? We're not sending Katy Perry to Spider-Man. Although, if Katy Perry just showed up in the Spider-Man, like we sent her inside of the screen, so it's like the opposite of Purple Rose of Cairo, where we're just like, how about we just send her into it? Why don't we send her to Spider-Man?
Send her to Spider-Man. Now, I do want to talk about the Perez thing. I think we can do it in a way that isn't horrifically depressing. But
we were already talking about it. I thought we did it. Didn't we do it?
I want to say more about the Ireland Baldwin and everything like that. So I do want to talk about it. Just the thing that you mentioned, Jackie, that I think is interesting is that other celebrities, specifically Ireland Baldwin. Tallulah Willis had also spoken about Perez, how Perez had made her feel as a kid, but
which
that
was bad.
Was actually last year. Horrible. yeah, she talked about how, he basically completely destroyed her self-esteem and, that and
From a
and
child,
as a child,
from when she can remember on.
because she had Bruce Willis's chin. And
I remember how brutal he was. There was specifically that, and when Tallulah was talking out about, like, there was a specific time when I think that she said that she was like 13 or 14 and she was hugging her father and that she had shorts on, and Perez Hilton was just going on and on about how fat and ugly she was and drawing all these pictures of like her father grabbing on her in the pictures. And that specifically, crazily enough, traumatized her.
yeah.
Can you imagine the age of 14 of you feeling like the whole world is calling you fat and laughing at you?
And this is why I said earlier, like, that I think that there's like so many layers to the story, because it's not that Perez Hilton was the only one doing this. Like, I actually remember us early Page 7 days making fun of the Willis children for looking like Bruce Willis too. Like, it was totally a part of the culture. Obviously, everybody in the 90s made fun of Chelsea Clinton. And so it was like,
but it
obviously
he was targeted. Yes, it was what he did was
totally
on such a huge platform.
Yes, and I think that's what's the reason that Perez Hilton, I think, can be specifically indicted and called out is that he built his name and built up this whole industry of, like, I think he was like a pioneer in the genre of really cruel, targeted, specific, harassing celebrity gossip. And so I just think that and he has, last year I went down in a little Perez hole. And so last year he like had,
without seeing the video, you went down a worm time and you didn't see the video or any of the pictures?
Yes, I did. I think for I'm not trying to give anybody credit, but I do think that it is now the video is it's not popping up.
They're trying to scrub it.
But what I was thinking about is, and so what you had mentioned is that after this tragedy this week happened with Perez, Ireland Baldwin spoke out and she said, Perez Hilton has publicly humiliated me and my family for years, sexualized me from a young age, commented on my weight and body as a child, made unforgivable comments about people in my family, drew jizz coming out of my mom's and friends' mouths, and has always been a despicable human being. She wrote that in an Instagram story after this all happened. And so I just thought it was interesting to see, this big high profile story happen to Perez Hilton and then have her speak out and be like, and then, she said, like, that said, I wish peace for him so that his children are okay. And like, she ends it, kind of gracefully. But I just thought it was interesting to have then the celebrities who were impacted by him speak out. And then the hole I went into was, has Perez Hilton ever apologized? And the answer to that is yes. Kind of like vaguely over the years, but then he had this big weird video that he put out last year where he's like reading the Bible and he had like a death scare, and he was like, I'm reading the Bible, and I'm like, he had like a literal come to Jesus moment where he's like, and he named names, and he was specific in what a good apology is, where you name the harm and you acknowledge the harm and you actually speak to the people. And he also says that he's reached out privately and stuff. So yeah, I was just thinking about it in terms of like, when you have been the architect of so much harm over the years, that then kind of like launched all these other mechanisms that continued what you built, right? It wasn't just him, but he, was part of this huge toxic celebrity discourse that did so much harm. And then now having him experience this personal tragedy and having other celebrities weigh in. And the fact that he has apologized, it's like, yeah, I'm really glad that he's apologized. I think that that's really all you can do. Right. But it's just, I think that, look, as always, we like to look at things with our 2026 glasses, and looking back at what happened in 2008, 2009, 2010 with what Perez was doing, it's obviously was the beginning of something very, very, very dark and insidious. Yeah. And I'm glad that he has acknowledged the harm, and obviously we wish him, well in recovery. But I just thought that Ireland Baldwin being like, I wish you well, and also we cannot erase like what you've done and like what has happened and what it used to be like for celebrity kids and girls and, specifically, and women, and it still is like that. I don't know. Yeah. It's a beast. And I guess I was just, it was interesting to see the way that he did try to repair.
Yes.
Yeah. But that also, it's 10 years later, more than 10 years later,
It's not given a lot.
It's not given a lot, but it's given something. I don't know. If anybody has followed him more closely over the years and wants to weigh in, let us know. Because I feel like I have really only thought about him again in the context of when we read Brittany's memoir.
Right.
And then then I had this retroactive realization of how much Perez Hilton shaped what it was like to be a young female celebrity in that time, and how much he specifically ruined so many of those people's lives.
Yeah. And targeted them to do that. So, I know that a person can grow and can change, and I do, we hope that, but maybe it seems like there were a couple of demons on the inside that maybe need to also be dealt with, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs. And it seems that he is, and I love that you said that, Perez Hilton discovers the power of privacy and respect when the family added your compassionate humanity during this heartbreaking time has meant more than words can express, which is a very nice statement because Perez Hilton never gave that humanity. So,
exactly. I think that's what's it's like, his family literally saying your compassionate humanity is so meaningful. And it's like, this is for a person who famously for years and years disregarded compassionate humanity, and the right thing to do is still to give it, even if they didn't give it to you, right? Yep. So here we are.
I'm about to talk about something very different than what we're currently talking about.
I can't wait to hear what it is.
And it's going to be, I'm just spinning the wheel of all the things I could talk about. And it's going to be my new dab rig. Yes, I'm bringing it up.
It's going to be Dylan Sprouse.
No, it's not going to be Dylan Sprouse talking about how he's a wife guy and how much he loves his wife. No, it's not going to be talking about me like loving the movie Forbidden Fruits or me talking about Nation's Dumbest. No, it's good. I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand with watching Nation's Dumbest because I want to send a shout out to Cass Reads Tarot from our chat and also amazing friend of mine who sent me baby's first dab rig. And I am a different person now, MJ.
And I understand that it goes together with Nation's Dumbest because if you're going to be watching a show like Nation's Dumbest where celebrities humiliate themselves for our pleasure, you're going to want to have a dab rig. Now, I don't know... I've heard of a dab rig.
It's science, MJ. Can you understand that? Sorry that you don't get these things. And I'm saying it like that because I need to share with everyone that I've been a stoner for 25 years. And I was like, weed, get it. I know everything about it. And then I got sent.
I know all the ways there is to ingest it.
I know every way to smoke this. And then I got sent baby's first dab rig. And I've done dabs before, but I had never prepared them myself. I didn't know anything about it. And then I looked at all of it and I was just like, huh? And then I was trying to do it. I was like, ooh. And then I tried to look up stuff about it. And I was like, ooh. Because you can't just easily find stuff online like describing all these things because there are many children online. I understand that. So my amazing friend Cass.
It's interestingly, usually nothing is changed to protect children. So it sounds like just for the dab rig.
Just for dab rigs. It's only to make stoners' lives more difficult. Oh yeah. Show the kids the Perez Hilton video.
Yes.
But
sex freaks can
make
whatever.
sure that they don't find out how to use a dab rig. Mm-hmm. And so my amazing friend Cass sent me individual videos explaining what to do, how to do it, how to use it, the differences between the stuff. Because I was like, I bought all these chunks in wet. Am I supposed to use chunks in wet inside of it? It doesn't look like other people's wet. It's science, MJ. That science has changed and they've made weed better. And I don't know how they did it.
When you say rig, mostly what I picture is like a camera rig that like somebody has on a film set. But for something like a home dab rig, I just want it to be like a fuck swing. Is what I want. I want it to be like a whole machine
it's a fuck
that you
swing
enter.
for your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, a fuck swing for your mouth, basically.
It is not.
It
honestly,
feels just as good. Right?
Yeah, it does. Honestly, usually, MJ, you are correct, and usually they look very complicated, and they're like, and you have the torch, and you have like all this stuff. I just am throwing this out there. I don't work for Puffco. I would though, if you want me to. They have now made the science easier, so you don't need to like light a fucking torch, and you don't need to have beakers out. You don't need to like have all this stuff. It's literally you just boop it in the boop now, and that's it.
I watch so many. I get so many Instagram ads of like, SpawnCon, and I just love like everything. If I'm not being shown trauma, I'm just being shown somebody being like, so I know a lot of you guys been asking about these shorts. And like, I love the idea of you just making SpawnCon of like, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about how high I've been lately.
Yes, I have been high. And I have been watching Nation's Dumbest. But Puff Coach throwing that out there, if you wanted really a collab, not even with me, but if you wanted with Nation's Dumbest, really would be a great collab. I don't know
you're not going to want to be sober. So it gets you real high. It's like a whole fuck swing for your mouth gets you even higher than the other. It's not like the other highs.
No, it's not like the other highs because you have to smoke. It's like you smoke a lot less, and I'm not talking about the benefits of putting smoke in your. All of it's bad. I know it's all of it's bad. Believe me, you can. I also want to give a shout out to all of the eye people out there that told us how bad what we're doing with our contacts is.
Oh, I know. Everyone was like, never, ever sleep with your contacts.
Your eyes will fall out. You have to stop. And you know what? I still haven't bought contacts, but these are monthlies. They're fine. It's fine.
Oh, I didn't even mention this, but I was like, after we did that show, the next day I saw a box of contacts on the dining room table, and I was like, thank God my contacts are here. And I put them in. And what about my morning, getting the kids ready to take them to camp? And Gideon's like, why did you open my contacts? And I was like, I've been with you for 15 years. You don't wear contacts. And he was like, I ordered contacts. And so the contacts I had put in were his, and they are a very different prescription than mine.
And
did I
notice?
No, because they were weaker. If they were stronger, I would have noticed, but they were weaker. But thank God but honestly, my eyes hurt so bad that wearing a fresh pair of contacts felt so good. I was like, whatever, I'm going to wear them. And then I walked the kids to camp, and thank God I wasn't driving.
You're like walking sideways.
Thank God he told me.
Through the sidewalks.
Thank God he told me, and thank God I wasn't driving. Because if he hadn't told me, I would have thought I was having a medical event. Mind. And if I had been driving, I would not have been able to see anything. But anyway, I now have fresh contacts.
I'm proud. I'm proud of you because I don't. So I just wanted to say I understand that I know that probably dabs are probably horrible for you, but as somebody that has to smoke a lot of weed, I am now smoking a lot less weed. Like I have to smoke and ingest a lot less
because it's going straight to the dome.
Because it gets right open there. Because of science, MJ, and that's I know distillation, I know diamonds, I know chunks and wet, and I'm referring to them as my chunks and wet. But apparently, the chunks and wet, that's the good stuff.
Now, speaking of science, tell me what we learned this week on Nation's Dumbest, because Jackie, I'm in the woods. I don't have time to see what Anthony Michael Hall doesn't know.
Because you're in the woods.
I'm into the woods. I'm looking at deer. I can't, although I have seen some of the socials that Napoleon Dynamite is putting out. And man, that guy's still funny. Really love Napoleon Dynamite.
I thought you said that you saw the socials that he's putting out. And I was like, where is he putting out? Where's Napoleon Dynamite? Like, I just imagine him just like, dick for sale, dick for sale. Like, I thought you meant he was putting out.
No, he's just making fun little vids.
What I learned on this episode, MJ, is that I think Anthony Michael Hall might be the stupidest person I've ever seen.
He's so dumb, and I love him.
I think it's because of the fact that he got. I want to say, no, I can't, because JoJo Siwa is smarter than he is. Like, easily
by a lot.
Smarter than he is.
I think okay, but again, I think the difference is that JoJo Siwa has to prove herself.
Yes,
and Anthony
so
Michael
she's
Hall
trying.
was beloved immediately from the time and actually, obviously, he was famous for being like the little guy and the underdog. But
He was also famous for being the nerd, and I feel like
Yeah, not
you
so
should
smart.
probably be a little smarter than that.
No, he is not smart. He is really the least smart of all of them. And so I think that what does that tell us? Becoming a child star 30 years ago leaves you dumber than being a child star now. But I think JoJo Siwa's she's just a hungry doggy trying to seize the day. She's like, I will not be underestimated. I have learned things despite never going to school. She's very smart, and Anthony Michael Hall very dumb. And then Napoleon Dynamite just like seems to have lived like a very normal life after Napoleon Dynamite. So he's just like, again, just like a normal guy in his 40s over here being funny and acting like a normal guy.
I would say even just watch this episode for the moment where JoJo Siwa is trying to explain to Ice-T that she only dated women up until her current boyfriend, because the look, and he's like,
Ice-T,
yeah,
it's like,
oh yeah, and like he's trying to be supportive. And it was just like, JoJo's like, hey, yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, I just went on Big Brother, man. Yeah, I found my boyfriend on Big Brother. That was so, and he's just like, oh wow, that's great. And just the look of just blankness on his face. I will also throw it out there, Andrew Yang, you are in so much trouble when you get home, because they were asked what a BBL was, and he didn't know what it was, and then he found out, and then he said, if my wife had gotten one, I'd know what it was. And he made like a joke about his wife's butt. And then later on in the episode, he's like, baby, your butt's perfect. Your butt's perfect. I love you. I love you, baby. And you knew that it was the kind of thing that the second he said it, you knew, and he knew that they were going to leave that in the edit because it's funny. And he knew that he had to say something, or else, because I was like, Andrew Yang, if you said that about my ass on national fucking television, I would have flipped out. But
Andrew Yang's media training is dog shit. You'd think that as somebody
we
who
want
actually
universal income, MJ. This is the problem.
Andrew Yang is right about exactly one thing, and it is universal basic income. There is nothing else.
It's universal income. It's like the only thing I know about Andrew Yang. And it's like, that's the one thing I know and I like and I support.
A stopped clock is usually right twice a day. In this case, it's right once a day. A universal basic income is a great idea. Everything else about that guy needs some work. And I am surprised at how, I guess it just shows you how different media training is to do a presidential debate with 25 fucking people versus to be on a reality show, because he is just stepping on rakes. Everything he says makes him look more embarrassing, more of a doofus. And he, again, is just so insecure. I know that we shouldn't take pleasure in other people's humiliation, but in this case, I'm having a good time.
Dumbest. I mean, that's what
they
it's
have
there
signed
for.
up for this. They are enriching themselves based on their own public debasement.
Yeah.
And then they are still falling apart about like Hilaria. I know she just cannot handle. She went on to prove she's smart, and that's not what she's proving.
And she knows it. You can
knows it.
You can see that she knows that she's not doing well.
And Ice-T is great too, because he doesn't care if people think he's smart or not.
No, he
he's
doesn't
just
care
here
at
for the
all.
paycheck. He and Napoleon Dynamite have their arms around each other all the time.
They're having a blast. I like watching them be forced to talk to each other, because I like that they're all just in a room, and it's given me, I know it's nowhere near Traitors, but it gives me that level of just like, what would they all talk about? And then you watch them talking to each other and you're just like, I'm more fascinated by that than the rest of it.
Because what brings Traitors together is usually that they're like either like hot, kind of like hot ticket reality stars, or they're all kind of like, everyone on Traitors is like not considered a has-been for the most part.
Right.
They're like at least a level up from has-been.
Right.
And everyone on Nation's Dumbest is there because they are already a laughingstock.
Yes.
Right. Like everyone there is an established.
Some of them are not
has-been.
even a has-been. They're a never was. What?
They're a never
Hilaria?
was.
What?
Yes, they're a want to be a has-been. They wish they could be a has-been.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching the egos egos at play when they all know that they have very little to offer is tough.
I want to talk about, you know what? Yeah, I was getting electrocuted right up from my butt up to my eyeballs, and that's because I was having such a great time watching King of the Hill. Probably not what you expected me to say, but
Again,
MJ,
I thought you were pivoting to Dylan Sprouse.
Nope,
I can't wait to talk about
not getting to Dylan Sprouse yet. No, MJ, I need to talk about a very important episode of King of the Hill because they just a couple of weeks ago they dropped the current season of King of the Hill. Last year they dropped New King of the Hill. This is another season of New King of the Hill. And
is it an extension of the current King of the Hill? Like, is it a
present day? It's so Bobby's grown up, like they're older. It is things have changed.
Okay.
And it's awesome. And there was a great episode because I am a firm believer that Hank Hill might be one of the greatest television husbands of all time, like that ilk, right? He tries his best. There is an episode that Peggy is really struggling and he figures out that it's because she's in menopause. And you think that the whole episode is going to be him going like, oh, but the whole episode is him trying to do anything to help her and like to talk about it, and like he wasn't scared to talk about these things, and he even goes to the point, he goes to the length of finding a weed store because next door, Dale Gribble's wife, Nancy, she's like, you know what helps me, Chug? And so Hank Hill goes to a weed store, asks all the questions, and brings her home some weed. And the final the final part of the show was her and Min and Nancy standing out in the back alley like the men do at the end of the night, and they're all smoking a joint, and they do the hey, and they do the like just like them, and it was
that's beautiful.
What an episode of an animated show that was just like, thank you for this. Thank you for
beautiful.
That's why I like this show so much. I like that he has always subverted your expectations for what a Southern husband in Texas would be. How he always was with, it's like he'd say like, the boy ain't right? When he's, carrying around like, that's my purse, I don't know you, and he does that, but he loves Bobby for who he is. He loves his wife for her flaws. Like I know that I don't need to get on this soapbox. I just love Hank Hill so much. And the menopause episode just drove the final nail in the love coffin for me. And I needed to share it.
That's great. That's lovely. And what a beautiful thing to like have it be the same image of like what the men do every episode of the Sigs, and then make it for the women.
It was so beautiful. Like I almost cried at the end of the episode. I was just like, that's beautiful. Thank you.
It's also so nice to have a show that was so good for so long, like start again and then still be really good. Like you all know that like I'm happy for anybody who likes Current Simpsons. I know there's great writers on Current Simpsons. Like one of my favorite comedy writers is on Current Simpsons. But for me, it's just like when I think of The Simpsons, I think of that certain era, and like the idea of like that era, like the Conan O'Brien era of The Simpsons being like having an episode where then we actually see Homer do something like really thoughtful for Marge or something is actually very moving. I don't think like that specific thing is going to happen. And what we instead, I will die on the hill that Homer is, if not a good husband, a very loving husband. And he's one of my favorite quotes from this.
Some might say.
One of my favorite quotes from The Simpsons is when he and Marge are about to separate and he has to figure out what he has to offer her. And he says, Marge, I figured out what I have to offer. Complete and utter dependence. And Marge says, Homer, that's not a good thing. But it's very moving
that he thinks it's a really good thing, though.
So to me, the Simpsons are just kind of will always be frozen in that time. And Marge ultimately never really gets... She never gets a moment like what you just described.
Right. She doesn't get that.
Peggy.
Neither does like a Peg Bundy out there. She also doesn't get that. I feel like there's a lot of sitcom wives that deserve it, that never got it. But What wife is getting all the love and devotion she wants? That's Barbara Sprouse, MJ. We're talking about Dylan Sprouse and Barbara. We're not even talking about Barbara right now. Do we need to
start listening to his podcast?
Dylan Sprouse's podcast
with that other guy whose name I forgot already.
Whoever that guy is. And we're going to start listening to the freaking podcast, and then we're going to be like, this guy. We love this guy.
But the story that you included of how Dylan Sprouse stopped smoking cigarettes because David Lynch, who is his favorite director, gave him a cigarette, and he was so happy to smoke a cigarette with David Lynch that he decided that would be his last one, because there would never be a better cigarette than the one he smoked with David Lynch.
What a reason to quit!
What a reason to quit!
Story. I love this. What a reason to quit! There are so many millions of reasons to quit smoking cigarettes, and this could be one of them for you. If I had gotten that opportunity, I get it. That's awesome.
I think it's so cute. And then the additional cuteness of this story is that, so as Dylan tells it, he's like, I was completely obsessed with David Lynch. He's there. I'm at this event with him. I want to talk to him. I have no idea what to do. I go out for a cigarette. I'm completely like hyperventilating, freaking out. And then David Lynch comes out to him and says, hey, do you have a cigarette? And so Dylan Sprouse gets to offer his hero a cigarette, and then they get to smoke a cigarette together. And then later, David Lynch offers someone else a cigarette. So Dylan Sprouse realized that David Lynch didn't need a cigarette. He just asked for one because he knew that would be a really nice thing.
And he could tell that he was fangirling. And so he gave him an opportunity to speak to him in that. And thinking about that is it says so much about who David Lynch was. You know what I mean?
It's really beautiful. He didn't have to do that.
No, but he could tell that he was fangirling, could tell that he wanted to talk to him, gave him an opportunity to talk to him. Dylan Sprouse took it. It changed his life. And that is, especially in these days where I think a lot of people suffer from lack of human connection, that we forget that it's one of the maybe the only reason I miss smoking cigarettes is the community aspect of going out to smoke a cigarette. Because I feel like back when we were in our 20s, I remember when I would try to quit smoking, I would keep smoking because I was like, yeah, but that's where everybody gets invited to do shows. When you're out smoking a cigarette is when you find out more information. That's when you get into the shit. You know what I mean?
I think that I still remember the first conversation that you and I had where we were like, we should work together. And it was out back. Like, I didn't smoke,
but a cigarette.
You were probably having a cigarette. Everyone was having a cigarette. It was outside. Like, it's true. Like, that's where the connections were made. And it's true. I'm so glad that this generation, or at least for a while, I think it sounds like that's changing. But for a while, this generation wasn't smoking cigarettes.
We're taking it back. Back to cigs, 26. I guess, it's 2026.
And I'm also glad that they're drinking less. But again, many, many meaningful moments of connection were made, even as a non-smoker, were made via cigarettes. But yeah, I thought that this story from Dylan was just so sweet. And he also says that he's kind of like incorporated the kindness with which David Lynch approached him as a fangirl. It has informed how Dylan responds to people who are fangirling over him, that he's like, David Lynch just did not have to treat me with such respect and give me such an opportunity to have a connection like that. And he's like, and I try to give that gift to people who I can tell are nervous about interacting with me, which is so nice.
It is just, man, Cole and Dylan Sprouse seem to not be able to be any more different from each other. Now, because it lingers, I've been seeing more Dylan Sprouse podcast content. This is why I'm like, oh my God, do I have to watch this? Because now I find out he's a big wife guy. He really loves Barbara, and he knows that Barbara is by far much better than he is, and knows that he's very devoted to her. He is about to become a girl dad. He's so excited about becoming a girl dad, and he even openly said, it's funny because Cole said people keep coming up to him and congratulating him, and it's so funny because he's just so the opposite of me, just hunched, smoking a cigarette, and them coming coming over. Meanwhile, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to be a girl dad.
Yeah.
And just the way he talks about the difference between the two of them it's got to have been difficult since the beginning of time to be so different, but then also to be doing a lot of the same things, but to also be twins.
It's fascinating since they were socialized the exact same, too. It's not even like you could be like, oh, well, of course Cole's fucked up because he's a child star. Like it's fascinating social experiment to have two kids who were put on the road to fucked upness. Like no better way to ensure you're going to be a fucked up adult than to be a child star. And
man, MJ, remember how we technically met because you and John had a show, and then you liked to bring on Henry and I because we were also siblings that also did comedy.
Yeah.
I do wonder if like the Sprouses, the Culkins, the Olsons, like do they ever come together to be like, man, we're all fucked, huh? Like, this is crazy, right? I know Macaulay was not a twin specifically, but like, I guess but do you throw a Skarsgård in there? I don't know. Like, is it just for siblings? Like, do you have the Yelin Hulas? Like, man, also talk about MJ. I should have sent it to you. This interview that I don't know if it was resurfaced or if it was recently. Maybe it may have been recent. Maggie Yelin Hula was talking about how difficult it was to go through her younger sibling skyrocketing with Donnie Darko right past her. And
really? I've always thought of her as higher than him.
I know. And she was like, she's like, I've genuinely struggled with this my whole life.
Oh, and Maggie.
But also it's like, it makes me feel like, thank you for sharing that. Isn't it so insane that no matter sometimes how much you succeed, you're still going to compare yourself to your siblings?
Right.
Like that's just forever.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting one because I've always thought of her, especially because I think she's made more like prestigious move, or I don't know. I think she's considered more of like an indie, like darling, and that Jake Gyllenhaal kind of went the way of like the blockbuster. And
but Secretary was my everything. Like
totally.
Didn't
I just see a video of them? They were cooking together. What? Do you know what I'm
Maggie
talking about?
Maggie and Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. I just saw like a fun with them.
They've never had fun before, MJ. I doubt it. Maybe that's where this conversation came from because I didn't know why she was in my feed or in the circuit at all. So maybe they just did an interview. Oh my God. Also that Tom Dea interview with them with the puppies. Oh, they had the interview with the puppies.
Oh, I know. Oh, dude, that came up when we were doing Tuesday's show and I was trying to read one of your articles from BuzzFeed and the autoplay was Tom Dea with the puppies. And I was like, get out of here. I can't focus.
Oh my God. I love them. I just, we have time for a lot of things in this life, but one thing I think we definitely don't have time for is to learn how to method act. And I just want to say thank you so much, Anya Taylor-Joy, for calling out the fact that women don't method act. And you know why? Because they have other better things to do, which is essentially what she said. And I think that is so funny that she's just like, who's got that? She's like, yeah, we're dedicated. Yeah, it doesn't mean we don't show up and that we cannot like begat similar performances, but we don't need that shit because we don't got time for that shit.
Yeah, and she also talks about, it's interesting, so the article also like mentions that last year Kristen Stewart spoke about this, and for Kristen Stewart's analysis was that like men method act because they have to make the act of acting, which is like vulnerable and artistic, they have to make it more masculine. So like to method act is to like take it to the extreme and to like separate your own. Yeah. Like she says, performance is inherently vulnerable and therefore quite embarrassing and unmasculine. masculine. There's no bravado in suggesting that you're a mouthpiece for someone else's ideas. And so she says it's inherently submissive. Have you ever heard of a female actor that was method? That was Kristen Stewart. So basically suggesting that like men do this, take on this extreme way of acting as a way of like coping with the inherent like submissiveness of it, which I think is also really interesting and much more like Freudian. And then, Anya Taylor-Joy's is just much more practical, where she's just like, women are on set, and like the relationships that you build and the way you act on set with like the people, your wardrobe and makeup and all of and the director and the script supervisor and everybody you're working with. If you're just in character that whole time, you are going to be alienating everybody. Nobody has, and like she says, A, we're too busy doing other stuff, but B, we don't have the privilege of like acting like a huge asshole on set, because then as women, we will just be much more likely to be written off. And so she's like, we can't do that. We can't throw ourselves out to this in the service of this character, because we have to manage everything else, including our public image.
Everything else.
And men, especially men of a status of like a Robert Pattinson, or Marlon Brando, they don't have to manage that image as much. They don't have to manage. They're just less and managers of themselves. Yeah. And so, I thought that I really like Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's a really interesting
Anya
person.
Taylor-Joy, and I think that she's gorgeous. But also, speaking of this too, I just saw the trailer. Oh my God, I'm about to blow chunks everywhere. I just saw the trailer for The Social Reckoning, which I don't know if this is the sequel of The Social Connection or social whatever.
The Social Network? The Facebook one?
Zuckerberg. I'm talking Zuckerberg.
Jeremy Strong is an uncanny Mark Zuckerberg. And Aaron Sorkin. Each word worse than the last. I mean, I like Jeremy Strong. But,
I'm blowing chunks. Especially I saw the trailer in Screen X, and I was just like, ew, it's everywhere, and I want to blow chunks everywhere.
I'm not a large Aaron Sorkin fan. I know that many people out there love West Wing, and I'm happy for you, but I'm not a large Aaron Sorkin fan.
Also, I'm there for CJ, and we all know it.
And I'm an even smaller Zuckerberg fan. And I love Jeremy Strong, but I think I might just love Jeremy Strong in Succession. It's hard to know.
I think I only love Jeremy Strong in Succession.
Like, I love Kendall Roy.
I love
Jeremy Strong?
Yes.
I don't know,
And especially
that's I don't like this.
It does seem like he is given something in this trailer. I just really, I wanted to slap the look right off of his face. The whole trailer. So how are people going to make it through the movie?
I'm watching it.
He just looks so stupid, and I hate his stupid face. And you know what? I don't want to look at Mark Zuckerberg, and I don't want to look at Jeremy Strong pretending to be Mark Zuckerberg, because everything that Anya Taylor-Joy was saying makes me think of this movie.
Yes, because Jeremy Strong is such a famous method actor. But is it possible that him being a kind of inherently obnoxious person is actually genius casting?
Like Kendall Roy?
Yeah.
You mean a big, like kind of whiny baby? Yeah. He's perfect at it. It's perfect casting, MJ.
Yeah.
He's the perfect face I don't want to look at. And I love Jeremy. I do, like, you're right though. I think I like Kendall Roy, but I don't like Kendall Roy though. Do you, MJ? Like, do you like that? Would you want to meet Kendall Roy? No.
I don't want to meet Kendall Roy. This is an Okay, so.
But then I saw Bill Burrs, and it was just like what is it? Jeremy Allen White is just doing
Jeremy
the
Allen
most
White. Jeremy Allen White's another one where I'm like,
I just finished The Last Bear, and I was like, I didn't even watch the sexy Bruce Springsteen movie, Jeremy Allen White. There's something about your mouth that looks like a sock puppet that used to have dentures, but then somebody pulled the dentures out.
I thought you wanted to kiss him.
I think don't anymore.
You lost it.
I think I'm so annoyed by the too cool that I think I've gotten the ick.
Yeah. I think that to be an actor like Jeremy Allen White or Jeremy Strong, you can fly so close to the sun of being like a little weasel man who everybody loves, and then you can just carefully go over the edge into a little weasel man that everybody hates.
Yes.
And I think that might be the arc that Jeremy Allen White is going through. I don't want to be ungenerous. You know, I love him.
I know. And I do like him as an actor. It's just, I think in the scene of seeing him in The Social Reckoning, and I was just like, ugh, all right.
Well,
Come on,
so is it the
what are we doing here?
Okay, well, so I'll have to figure out the whole. I'm gonna go on a deep dive. It's presumably it's a companion piece to The Social Network. Oh, it's about the 2021 like leak. Okay, gross.
Yeah, I remember it. It was like 5 years ago. I don't need a friggin' movie about it.
And also like that's just pure. Unless it's a pure evil. It's a story of by 2021. If we're making a story about Facebook, the story must be. This is everyone involved is evil. Like, I don't want any redemption. And that's the thing. Jeremy Strong is actually good at making like a really anti-hero who's also like kind of redeemable. And I don't want any redemption for Mark Zuckerberg.
It is scary
Zero.
too. It's not even just written by Aaron Sorkin. It is written, co-produced, and directed by Aaron Sorkin. So it is, it's the trifecta.
Yeah.
And so nobody's telling Aaron where to walk or where to talk. And that is the way he likes it, I imagine.
Yeah.
But you know, it's okay to see a movie and decide that's just not for me.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
I don't trust this because I think that the Sorkin likes to do these big grandiose make these big, grandiose, like exploring like moral ambiguity of like the powerful. And I just don't think there's any moral ambiguity with Mark Zuckerberg.
Right now, do we need this? Do we need to be like, oh, I guess the billionaires got feelings too? I don't give a f.
Right. We don't
care.
We don't need a brilliant actor to portray an evil billionaire.
Put him in the Spider-Man. Send them all into the screens. I'd say send them. I think we need to figure out. I think that I really came up with something earlier. Reverse engineer Purple Rose of Cairo. I think we can start putting them into like in Twilight Zone the movie when he zaps his sister into the cartoon. I think that we need more of those capabilities.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You know, back when I used to host my lefty podcast with my brother, which was called Radio Dispatch, we were anti-carceral, but we often wanted to punish very powerful people. And so we would talk about shooting them into space. And I think, weirdly enough, now we actually do have that technology pioneered by Katy Perry. You know, we could just put them in space and leave them there for a while. Leave them there, I think, till they learn a lesson is the main idea. But I like putting them into the screen.
On like a pleasure cruise, right? We say, oh, you're going on a pleasure cruise to Mars. And then we Aniara them and we hit them. And then all of a sudden the spaceship is going in the other direction and there's no way for them to turn around.
Yeah, whoops, it's going to crash into the moon,
Whoops, you got Aniara. Like, I think that is a movie definitely everybody is referencing all the time. The Swedish sci-fi movie that I'm obsessed with. Which I am. Also, Adam, I didn't even let you know we will be watching that on my birthday this year because yes, I do like to watch upsetting movies on my birthday, and I've already chosen my upsetting movie for this year, and that is Aniara.
Oh yeah, Jackie, next week will be your birthday show.
Next week will be birthday show. Yeah, it's creeping on up there. Leo season, man, it rips right through you. And I know that we're not the only people that are covered in Leos just because we're entertainers. I do know that there's the most amount of birthdays in the month of August because we are holiday screws.
So
you gotta get those holiday screws out 8 or 9 months later. You know, maybe we are. That's the Lindsay fucking Ham that we love because we're holiday screws. Because sometimes your holiday screws turns into something you have to deal with for the rest of your life. Ebenezer.
Before he was Scrooge.
Oh, he was always Ebenezer. Oh, yeah, you know, he's still Ebenezer. He was then, he is now. I'm so filled with a rage. Did I see another trailer for it at Screen X? Yes, I did.
Before he was Parker, he was Peter.
Peter. It's like, yeah, we know that part of the story. Oh, my gosh. I'm just so, you know, it's good to have this kind of rage about the holidays and it's good that we're putting it towards a movie this year. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think that that's good. And also, just to end the show on a positive note,
What?
I do think we should talk about how good Spider-Man is doing. And it's a real go to the theater film,
Bro,
you know, like
it's a go to the 3X theater film. It is so fun.
It's breaking records. It's careening beyond expectations. And I saw a great TikTok that was just like, you know, all the directors racing to cast either Tom Holland or Zendaya in any movie coming out next year.
We're taking a break.
They're taking a break. And also they have good taste. You know, this is the thing about, honestly, the thing about somebody like Jeremy Strong and Jeremy Allen White doing a movie like The Social Reckoning is like, I want you to have better taste than that.
Yes.
And when you are a really good actor and you do a movie that is obviously going to be like a soft propaganda piece for Mark Zuckerberg, even if it's presented as like, oh, it's hard for him or whatever, like I get an ick because I want you to have discerning taste. And one of the many things that puts Tom Daya at the top of the pile right now is that they make good movies. Now, I know not everybody liked the drama, but it seems like Zendaya is at least thoughtful. And yeah, you liked it. And it seems like she's at least thoughtful she's trying to make interesting choices.
It was something that we talked about. It was something that like she likes to choose things that challenge her. And
challengers?
Well, like challengers. Yeah, I mean, that was challengers. Oh, man. But it is crazy. Like, I mean, Zendaya, drama, Dune, Spider-Man, Euphoria, Odyssey, all this year.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, take some time off, bitch. Like,
take some time off.
Go look at a wave or something. I don't know. You need something.
Look at a deer.
Yeah.
Come to me.
Go to MJ. Go find MJ.
Oh. Yes, I'm still singing Les Mis.
You're singing Les Mis.
You didn't recognize it?
Come to me, cause it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. That's the one.
It was funny because yesterday I was singing "Bring Her Back" because I saw the poster for "Bring Her Back," and then Jeff was like, "What are you singing?" And then I tried to explain. I was like, "Oh, because every time MJ and I think about the movie "Bring Her Back," we sing "Bring Her Back" to the tune of "Bring Him Home" from Les Mis," and Jeff was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I just watched his eye and he's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, don't never ask me what I'm singing. Never. You don't want to know.
Like in The Simpsons when you just hear in their brain the footsteps walking towards the door, slamming the door, and then driving the car away.
And then I never saw him again. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us as we got all full up today. And I hope that you until you're so full, but I don't want you to be blowing chunks all over Manhattan the way I was earlier in the episode.
Because of not SpaceX, ScreenX.
Well, no, yeah, I forgot. No, I was blowing chunks about something else. I already don't remember. And so this is good. This is how my brain protects itself.
Yeah. No, let it in and out. Well, thank you guys to all of you also who have been watching us over on YouTube and leaving comments and enjoying the amazing, incredible graphics that April is adding.
Who is killing
so fun.
It. And if you are not subscribed, get on over there and subscribe. YouTube.com/@page7pod. Come see us on Vidya because we dress up for you, babes. And we're going to have even more things to dress up for coming up in the future. So I want you to be checking it out because soon we're going to have even more content coming in your eyes and your ears and your finger-diseased fingers.
Wow. With that, are we going to sing the song?
Yes, we will. Bottle be better, second time around. Bye, everybody.